So this inverter. The last thing that we are going to say is this one: classification of solar panel systems. There are three kinds of solar panel systems. The first one is on-grid solar power system. The second one is off-grid solar power system, and the third one is combined solar power system. So we have on-grid, off-grid, and combined. So we will try to see their difference, what they really mean by that, and what they look like. So the first one is on-grid solar power system. We just said on-grid because it's grid tied. So you can see this is grid, right? So this is what? Grid tied. So we don't have solar PV panels here, and then we don't have DC disconnect switch. We don't have inverter, as I said before. We have AC disconnect switch. So PV generation meter, power to home, main fuse box, utility meter. This, like as you can see, it's attached to grid, so we call it on grid. The second one is off grid, and this one is it's not grid tied. So it's off grid, obvious. So what we do is, like, we have the solar here, and then we have the DC current coming through this, and we have charge controller. At the same time, we have battery. So the DC current is, like, here it's converted through inverter into AC current, so we can use it in AC loads like can be fluorescent lamp, pump, TV, fan, radio, computer, refrigerator. So these are like off-grid, so we can use them directly. We don't have to tie them, we don't have to attach them into grid in order to use these energy sources. They are off-grid. And the third one is combined solar power system, which means we combine these two things, off-grid and on-grid. So if you can see here, we don't have solar power here. So we don't have solar panel. So the solar panel converts sunlight to DC current. There's sunlight, so it's converted to DC current. And after that, we don't have the inverter. The inverter receives the DC current and it converts it to AC current. AC current from DC to AC current. And after that, we can take electricity your home requires. We can take the electricity that our home requires. But at the same time, we don't have grid here. So if there's extra electricity, it's credited on grid. So the extra electricity moves to the grid after we take the enough amount of electricity that we need for our home. So we can say these are combined solar power systems, both on grid and off grid. If we combine them, it's like this kind of we can get this kind of solar power system. So let's see their main difference. So the first one, grid connection. So as I said before, if it is on grid, yeah, it's grid tied. If it is off grid, it's standalone. There is no grid here, no. And if it is hybrid, or as I said, combined, yes, it's obvious there is a grid connection here. Battery storage in on grid is optional. We might use or we might not use, but here it's required as long as as long as it's not attached to the grid. We need battery to store the energy system. As we were saying here, this one, we need battery in off-grid system, but here it's not mandatory, it's optional. Yeah, required as long as there is hybrid, required. So power during grid outage, no, there is no power. If let's say if there is no, let's say if there is cloud, or if there is no enough amount of storage there, so there is no power, we can say. But here we don't have power as long as we don't have storage, and here, yeah, we don't have battery, so we don't have power. In terms of cost, this one is lower, higher. Mainly these two things are higher because of the storage technology. You can take, for example, lithium-ion batteries, or batteries which are solid state batteries, which are still under development for effective energy storage solutions. So that makes them very costly or high cost. And the other thing is energy independence. Low, high, and medium high. Yeah, energy dependence. If it's maintenance cost, this one is low, higher cost. As I said before, batteries here also higher. Batteries and inverters best for urban areas with stable grid. If there is stable grid, they are best for this on grid. And remote or off grid areas like the village or rural areas, and areas with unreliable grid or backup needs. So excessive energy use can feed back to grid, this one is stored in batteries, can store in batteries or feed back to grid if there is excess energy. So this is all about these solar power systems on grid, off grid, and hybrid or combined.